Hello and welcome. I'm Atika Farooqui, a legendary poet from Punjabi literature. Avtar Singh Sandhu, also known as Pash, had said, सबसे खतरनाक होता है मुर्दा शांति से भर जाना, तड़प का ना होना, सब कुछ सहन कर जाना, घर से निकलना काम पर और काम से लौटकर घर आना, सबसे खतरनाक होता है हमारे सपनों का मर जाना. I hope that you are living, fighting for your dreams and live each day as if it were your last and do things knowing that it will come back to you, good or bad. This is Now Showing, a show for people full of dreams. I'm Atika and let's see what they have to tell you this week. Let's start with the highlights. Telgi is a successful follow-up to its predecessor, gritty and dark. In conversation with the champion of independent and meaningful cinema, Anurag Kashyap. Director Abhishek Kapoor on completing 15 years of coming-of-age drama film Rock On. And Leslie Lewis of Colonial Cousins fame talks about his new album. To begin with, let's talk about this week's release, Telgi, on your OTT platforms, particularly Sony Liv. Following up on a successful franchise's first installment is always a challenging task, and it becomes even tougher when that franchise is Hansal Mehta and Jay Mehta's Scam 1992. After nearly 3 years, the second installment has been released, titled Scam 2003, The Telgi Story. This new series has been adapted by Kiran Yadnopavit, Kedar Patankar and Karan Vyas from news reports and Sanjay Singh's non-fiction book, Telgi, A Reporter's Diary. By the way, we were colleagues back in the day. Hansal Mehta, who directed Scam 1992, serves as a showrunner, with Tushar Hiranandani as a director here. Abdul Karim Telgi's character is quite different from Harshad Mehta. While both had the same goal of infiltrating the system, finding its perfect flaw, and then exploiting that flaw to their advantage, Telgi did not flaunt his cars and wealth like Harshad Mehta. Instead, Telgi quickly realized the need to suppress his flamboyance and maintain a low profile to sustain his operations discreetly. When the audience still remember Harshad Mehta's mantra, risk hai to ishq hai, they see Telgi ingeniously selling fruits wrapped in a photocopy of his BCom degree certificate on a train, saying, daring to karna padega, darling. This catches the eye of a benevolent individual who eventually brings him to Bombay. There he plays a crucial role in boosting the revenue of a local guest house. Along the way, Abdul falls in love with the owner's daughter, marries her and spends some time in Saudi Arabia. However, it is upon his return to India that Telgi's story truly begins to unfold. The first captivating element that immediately grabs the audience's attention is Gagan Dev's remarkable portrayal of Abdul Karim Telgi. Not only does he bear an uncanny physical resemblance to the real Telgi, but he also masterfully captures every nuance of the character, including the authentic Hyderabadi lingo and accent. Credit goes to director Tushar Hiranandani and the show's talented writers, Kedar Patankar, Kiran Yadnopavit and Karan Vyas for this remarkable achievement. The narrative excites us once again as the iconic soundtrack from Scam 1992 by Achint Thakkar and Ishan Chhabra graces our ears. It's as if this soundtrack has become ingrained in our minds, ready to play whenever a clever scam unfolds on screen or even in real life, providing an exhilarating dopamine rush. The mammoth cast of actors for other characters include Nandu Madhav, Talat Aziz, Sameer Dharmadhikari, Bharat Dabholkar, Kiran Karmarkar, Mukesh Tiwari, Sana Amin Sheikh, Dinesh Lal Yadav, Bhavna Balsavar, and the list goes on. Each one of them has elevated the narrative's sincerity with their performances. And by the way, all of them are like senior actors, so it's a win-win. Only 5 of the total 10 episodes have been released so far, and they have successfully lured the audience, leaving them craving for more. The pilot episode could not have been more apt with its storytelling pace and dialogues. It just hits the mark. However, from the 3rd episode, the narrative does lose its pace and starts to feel a bit lethargic in nature. In conclusion, Scam 2003, The Telgi Story, holds its ground firmly to build upon the success of its predecessor, Scam 1992, with a gripping narrative, outstanding performances and a soundtrack that continues to resonate with viewers. Nevertheless, with half of its episodes yet to be released, there is ample room for the narrative to regain its footing and deliver an unforgettable viewing experience. As we eagerly await the unfolding chapters of Telgi's story, it holds a promise of being another remarkable addition to the world of Indian web series. I'm actually looking forward to more. Let's move on now. A Z5 original film Haddi has a transgender called Haddi, who moves to Delhi from Allahabad and joins a gang of transgenders and cross-dressers headed by an influential man. But is this move aspirational or driven by revenge? Directed by Akshat Ajay Sharma, who had assisted Anurag Kashyap earlier, is now directing him as an actor. We three sit down. We also take out 5 important quotes by legendary international filmmakers and ask Anurag Kashyap if they hold true for this champion of independent cinema. कि सोशल मीडिया फॉलोइंग के बेसिस पे कास्टिंग मत करिए. वी वांट टू सी एक्टर्स एंड नॉट इन्फ्लुएंसर्स.
यस यस,
दोनों जल्दी जल्दी बताइए क्या राय है आपकी इस बात में.
मैं तो एकदम आपके साथ ही हूँ इस बात में. ये सोशल मीडिया फॉलोइंग के बेसिस पे जो कास्टिंग होती है वो बहुत ही ज्यादा प्रॉब्लमेटिक है.
इट इज प्रॉब्लमेटिक. अक्षत, आप?
I 100% agree. मतलब
इसमें कई बार अच्छे एक्टर्स निकलते हैं लेकिन उनको ऑडिशन करिए और सेलेक्ट करिए.
सही बात है, सही बात है.
ये एक्टिंग बहुत लंबा प्रोसेस है. तो जितने भी अच्छे एक्टर्स आपने देखे हैं उन्होंने कितना टाइम दिया है उस एक्टर बनने में, कितना बैकग्राउंड, कितना होमवर्क दिया है. तो और उसका रीजन है तो आई थिंक वो काम डालना चाहिए. देयर आर गुड एक्टर्स, दे आर टैलेंटेड एक्टर्स, बट आई थिंक दे शुड गो थ्रू वो प्रोसेस.
इसका कंसेप्शन, ये कहानी और इसकी कास्टिंग कि इधर अनुराग होंगे, जीशान बीच में है, उधर नवाज होंगे, ये कैसे हुआ? इज इट अ रियल स्टोरी?
It's not a real story. It's a entertaining the story is pretty simple. It's a बदले की कहानी है जो हम काफी बार
यूपी में बदला बहुत खेला जाता है. इलाहाबाद से दिल्ली आने के बाद बदला बहुत.
हाँ, ये यूपी के बॉर्डर की है, ये नोएडा की कहानी है. तो ऐसा मतलब that न्यू डिस्टोपियन आर्किटेक्ट
राइट
ऑफ वो वाला. तो कहानी रियल नहीं है ऑब्वियसली. कैरेक्टर्स, छोटे छोटे इंसिडेंट्स, कैरेक्टर्स जो हैं वो ऑथेंटिक हैं.
Anurag, what attracts you to a character so sinister such as this?
Nothing attracts me. I don't want to act. They force me to act. They blackmail me into acting.
Really? इस फिल्म में कैसे आपने, किसका आइडिया
इमोशनल
था?
ब्लैकमेल नहीं.
अच्छा, ये आपने बोला था कि ये आपका करें कैरेक्टर?
करे नहीं,
करो,
आपको करना पड़ेगा.
नहीं ऐसे नहीं. हाँ, जैसे प्यार से बोलते हैं कर लो ना.
And he relented. That's a nice. Is it also one of the nice career streams that you see? कि चलता रहेगा, सब कुछ साथ साथ चलेगा? No?
मेरे कुछ नहीं, मेरे इमेज बन गया है कि एक साइकोपैथिक सा मैं जो मैं हूँ नहीं. हाँ, लोगों ने बना दिया है. मतलब मुझे लोग स्क्रीन पे मुझे देखते हैं, उनको लगता है रियल लाइफ में वही हूँ मैं.
His face, his eyes have an innocence.
Yes, you're right. His eyes have a certain innocence.
वो साइकोपैथिक जो कह रहे हैं ये, वो एक तरफ मेरे को वो बहुत ज्यादा अट्रैक्ट करा था.
Right.
Which is why I saw प्रमोद अहलावत की. हाँ,
छोटे बच्चे मुझे देख के डर जाते हैं, बोलो मैं.
नहीं.
हाँ, फिर मेरे को बाद में उनका डर निकालना पड़ता है.
आपकी वो सांता क्लॉज वाली तो पर्सनालिटी है इनकी.
हाँ, सांता क्लॉज बनना पड़ता है.
पर्सनालिटी है जानने के बाद.
So, Anurag, you are known to have nurtured talent, especially directors. Lots of them. ऐसी मैंने नोट बनाए थे, तो उसमें से कुछ नाम ये देखिए मेरे सामने रखे हुए हैं कि वसन बाला, रणदीप झा ने हाल ही में कोहरा बनाई, सब तारीफ कर रहे हैं. श्लोक शर्मा, अनुभूति कश्यप एंड मेनी मोर. 5-6 बड़े इंटरेस्टिंग फिल्म मेकर्स के कोट्स निकाले हैं मैंने, अनुराग. एंड आई जस्ट वांट यू टू बी अ लिटिल एनेक्डोटल, गिव मी रेफरेंसेस फ्रॉम योर लाइफ एंड स्टोरी एंड कमेंट ऑन दिस. Stanley Kubrick had said, "The best education in film is to make one." Now this one is a very
agreed 100%.
Yeah.
Tarantino भी वही बोलता है. सब सारे अच्छे फिल्म मेकर ये बोलेंगे.
फिल्म मेकिंग को स्टडी करना जरूरी है?
नहीं.
Really?
ना. यार देखो, फिल्में पहले बनी, फिल्म स्कूल बाद में चालू हुआ. तो जो थ्योरी की किताबें लिखते हैं उन्होंने फिल्में नहीं बनाई. तो फिल्म थ्योरी से मुझे बहुत प्रॉब्लम है. वो प्रैक्टिकल फिल्म मेकिंग जो है वो कहीं सिखाते नहीं है, और जो थ्योरी में फंस जाते हैं थ्योरी से निकल नहीं पाते.
ब्यूटीफुल पॉइंट.
तो वो सिंपल से जो है, फिल्म मेकिंग इज द बेस्ट फिल्म मेकिंग स्कूल.
क्या बात है.
मेकिंग ऑफ फिल्म इज द बेस्ट फिल्म मेकिंग स्कूल.
Wim Wenders had said, "Before you say cut, wait for 5 more seconds."
I wait for 15, 20. Sometimes I just keep waiting. I don't say cut. Because you get that magic there.
हाँ, वो एक्टर ना रिलैक्स हो जाता है और वो जो
कुछ होता है जो बहुत नेचुरल और मैजिकल होता है.
That silence ना, you believe in silence.
और कई बार जैसे वो रिलैक्स हो जाते हैं, उनको लगता है शॉर्ट हो गया, मैं बिना कट बोले बोलता हूँ रिपीट. तो सडनली वो पूरा चेंज हो जाता है.
उसकी एनर्जी वाइब अलग हो जाती है,
पूरी अलग हो जाती है.
बहुत खूबसूरत बात आपने बोली. क्विंटन टैरेंटिनो ने कहा था, if a million people see my movie, I hope they see a million different movies.
Absolutely, it's the best thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best thing. अच्छी फिल्म वही होती है.
Yeah.
मतलब फिल्म के जब डिस्कशन होता है ना, जब फिल्म के बारे में बातचीत होती है, तो आपको मालूम है कुछ है.
बहुत प्यारी चीज है. देखिए, आपके ऊपर सूट होती है. Elia Kazan, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right,
Correct.
but Elia Kazan said, the real challenge is not simply to survive. Hell, anyone can do that. It's to survive as yourself undiminished.
Yes. That's
You
the
are
whole
a prime
fight.
example of
That's
that.
the whole fight. The whole fight is just that. मेरी जिंदगी में बहुत सारे लोग आते हैं जिनको लगता है यार तू कितना अच्छा काम करता है, you know, I'll tell you what you should do. और सब आते हैं मेरी जिंदगी संवारने, सब मेरी जिंदगी सॉर्ट आउट करने, ताकि उनको लगता है कि मैं ज्यादा पैसे कमा सकूं, ज्यादा सक्सेस देख सकूं. और मैं सबको हाथ जोड़ के बोलता हूँ भैया मुझे मेरे जैसा रहने दो. Interesting. I'm very happy being who I am.
I'm sure हर किसी ने अपनी जिंदगी में एक बार तो ये डिस्कशन अपने दोस्तों से किया होगा, यार ये आदमी बहुत अच्छा है, काश ये मेन स्ट्रीम में आए, काश ये ज्यादा पैसे कमाए. हाँ, बहुत लोग.
इसी वजह से तो बनी थी एक बार फॉर्मूला. आप बिना स्टार के साथ ये कर देते हो, स्टार के साथ देखो आप तो क्या करोगे. मैंने देख लिया क्या किया मैंने.
You're right. Spike Lee said, I think people who have faults are a lot more interesting than people who are perfect.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with everything. I prefer failure over success because it teaches you more. I like flaws. I like flawed people. I like contradictions. Perfection से तो मुझे बहुत ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम है. और perfection के ऊपर एक्चुअली सबसे अच्छी फिल्म बनी हाल में.
कौन सी?
बार्बी,
yes.
मतलब परफेक्शन को उठा के तोड़ मरोड़ के घसीट पीट के सब कुछ अलग ही बना दिया उसने.
बहुत बढ़िया. ये बहुत जरूरी है ये करना.
क्योंकि वो इमेज जो है ना परफेक्शन की, उसको खत्म किया उस मूवी में.
और यही सच है.
स्ट्रॉन्ग वॉइस एक फिल्म में मैंने इतनी सारे एंटरटेनमेंट के साथ मैंने कभी नहीं देखी.
That's a very good recommendation. And Woody Allen said, and he was a poster boy for this, if my films don't show a profit, I know I'm doing something right.
नहीं, इसका काउंटर भी है.
क्या?
बर्गमैन सेड, कोई भी फिल्म बनाओ उस पे जितना खर्च करो उससे 1 पैसा ज्यादा कमाना चाहिए.
1 पैसा ज्यादा कमाना चाहिए.
1 पैसा ज्यादा, बस उससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं. ये करोड़ के जो क्लब्स है ना, वो फायदा तो देते ही है, लेकिन उससे जो बाकी खामखा के जो लोग इंस्पायर होके और उस तरह की फिल्म बनाने की कोशिश करते हैं, उससे फिर नुकसान भी उतना गुना बढ़ता है.
What is your relationship with money, Anurag?
I have as much as I need. When I don't have it, I ask from my friends. And बस मैं खुश हूँ, जितना चाहिए उतना है मेरे पास.
And what if 5 films of yours consecutively, if they do not do well financially, what kind of an effect does it have on you for your future films, your attitude towards
it has happened before.
It has happened, but
it doesn't affect me.
It doesn't.
I make my films. I know how to work backwards. मेरी फिल्म में जब नुकसान होता है, तो that नुकसान is nothing compared to कोई बड़ी फिल्म का नुकसान. कई बार मेरी फिल्म का नुकसान जो है supposedly 100 करोड़ फिल्म के नुकसान से भी ज्यादा बहुत कम होता है, minuscule होता है.
That's true, actually. That's true. But you know, there are so many 100 club, 100 crores, 200 crores, 300 crores.
चेस करने में बहुत प्रॉब्लम होती है.
Yeah, where do people like you and Akshat fit into this 100 crore, 100 crore?
I don't even go there. मैं तो उस क्लब से बहुत दूर, इसलिए वर्सोवा गांव में रहता हूँ.
मैं भी.
वर्सोवा गांव में रहता हूँ.
हाँ.
वो क्लब जो है थोड़ा उधर रहता है.
Ignorance is bliss. Now let's talk about another director, Abhishek Kapoor, who has directed Rock On, Kai Poche, Chandigarh Kare Aashiki, Fitoor, Kedarnath, etc. Was once an actor himself. Most of his films combine the restless energy of youth with delicious, realistic narratives which make his films contemporary. We talk about 15 years of Rock On that also got a national award for Best Film back in 2008. So here is Abhishek Kapoor and I on this Zoom interview chat format, which has become so common these days because he is right now shooting another film.
15 years to rock on. I remember it was year 2008 and the best films or the most hit films or the flavor of the box office was, and I'll tell you the names. Gajni had released that year, Singh is King had released that year, Rab Ne Bana Di Jodi and Jodha Akbar. And here was Rock On, so different, so niche, so young and peppy. Though it was a youth-based film, how are you feeling right now?
I feel great. I mean, I feel absolutely fabulous. It seems just like yesterday that this movie was out. The kind of love and appreciation this movie has garnered over the years, and every year of the day, people connect, reconnect, and jam to the tunes, and feels good.
So when we talk of Rock On, Abhishek, the first thing that comes to everybody's mind is the song. Na 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 na. It was so different, and the best part about the movie and this song particularly was that it was written by Javed Akhtar. Now, Javed Akhtar is the person who writes, जिनको lyricist के तौर पे was launched by Yash Chopra, and he wrote देखा एक ख्वाब तो ये सिलसिले हुए दूर तक निगाह में हैं गुल खिले हुए, and then he writes all these songs like Dil Mein Mere Hai Dard Hai Jisko and Na Na Na. And to the viewers, let me just revisit the lyrics. The lyrics were like, दिल क्या कहता है मेरा क्या मैं बताऊं तुम ये समझोगे शायद मैं पागल हूं दिल करता है टीवी टावर पे मैं चढ़ जाऊं चिल्ला चिल्ला के मैं ये सबको कह दूं rock on. Now this was the flavor of the movie.
The music is actually the reason I made this movie. I was just coming out of an earlier film of mine, which took a long time for me to complete. And in those days, I was listening to some crazy rock tunes, like Dave Matthews Band and U2 and Coldplay. And I was so inspired. And I felt like, why don't we have a film about a band and rock music? Because music is a universal language. You can have Hindi lyrics on it and you can set it in India. And the best way to introduce a new genre of music would be to make a film where you see them making the music and give the audience an immersive experience.
What was an average day on the sets of Rock On like?
I mean, there were some of the coolest people on set. You're making a movie about music. So, before going on set, in a room for about 40 days with Shankara Sanloy and Javed Sir. So, it starts off with that, on that note, And the icing on the cake is Javed Akhtar. The guy is a master. He can engage a 6-year-old to a 600-year-old also. He can write some futuristic stuff if you ask me. I remember when we were discussing how to lyrically program the film. So there were some songs that are going to lace the movie, as in take the narrative forward with montages and all. And there were some songs that the band has to make. And I remember, I had just made one movie, so I have to watch my words with Javed Saab, and because this is some radical stuff that is in my head. So at the risk of sounding really foolish in front of him, but that's the key ingredient, where you're not afraid to make a fool of yourself and you just put it out there as purely as possible. And so I remember telling him, Javed Saab, this song. He said, what should I write? I said, you write about a college boy who's had a week, and मेरे साथ ये इस दिन में ये हुआ, फिर मेरी गर्लफ्रेंड ने ये किया, फिर मेरे दोस्तों ने ऐसा हुआ, फिर मेरे पास पैसे नहीं है, मुझे बाहर जाना है, जो भी करना है, मगर आज I bought a pair of brand new shoes and I feel great. I mean, just write some random stuff like that from a kid's point of view. And that's when he came back with the lyrics to पिछले 7 दिनों में, मेरी लॉन्ड्री का एक बिल, आधी पड़ी नॉवेल, na 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 na.
We're heading for a short break here. After the break is Leslie Lewis, one of the duo of Colonial cousins. His partner was Hari Haran, you remember? And they made beautiful songs, fusion songs. One of their songs was this hugely popular, something about the way you smile. You may never know the reason why. Sani da pa ma ga ma ga re sa. Oh, amazing song that was. And he's back with his new single. Amazing. Welcome back to Now Showing. I'm Atika Farooqui. singer-composer Leslie Lewis, whom we all remember from that duo Colonial Cousins in the 90s, has recently released his new album. My colleague Vishal Chatkara spoke to Leslie about his music and composing such iconic songs. One of the songs that he had composed was Sunita Rao's Pari Hu Main, Mujhe Na Chuna, Ta-da-da-da-da-da. You remember that song? It was so popular in those days, and I didn't know that Leslie had composed it. So here is Leslie in conversation.
Tere bina love don't mean a thing. Tere bina love and I don't want to sing. Tujhko mera dil chahe to main kya karu.
You know, that was of course your brand new song called Tere Bina Love, which is one of the 6 songs from a recently released album titled White Album.
Yes, it's called The White Album because आजकल के ज़माने में इतना जो शोर मच रहा है ना, you have to come to your white state. एक शांत का जो state है ना, वहाँ शांति आके अपना chill state में आपको ये गाने सुनने हैं. तो then guaranteed not one but you're going to have 2 favorites out of 6. उतना guarantee से बोल रहा हूँ.
You also have said in one of your interviews that Haddi wanted to record a song with you.
Yeah, so what happened is I was in London. I met Asha ji वहाँ. She said, मेरा album करना है. And Panchamda had just passed away at that time. She said, Haddi wanted to record all his old hits with you. मतलब तुम arrange करोगे, Panchamda will be the music director, but he wants you to kind of produce the whole thing of all his old songs. So I was a bit of a shock. I said, you know, Panchamda, of all the people, he could have chosen anybody in the world. Why me? So immediately we got working, and Rahul and I was the first album that we did together, which was all Rahul and I, Rahul Dev Burman and Asha ji. It was fab because I had to keep talking to Haddi all the time saying, sir, theek lag raha hai kya? You know, you're up there.
You're also the man behind the iconic song, like you said, Pari Hu Main. So what's the backstory of creating that song? It must be a very interesting one, I'm sure.
So when Sunita came to do the album, and she wanted to do some folk kind of, she also likes folk a lot. So I said, karte kuch, you know, we'll do it. And ऐसे ही मस्ती में I was just, you know, playing her this song. You tell me you love me, you tell me you want me to stay all night. Tell me, baby, do you really want my love and to feel alright, to feel alright? And she said, this is such a fantastic song, we must do this. And I had written the song for myself. But she kept on asking, let's do it, let's do it. So uska jo antara hai, oh, tell me what love is all about. Ye antara hai. Tell me what you're feeling for me, baby, just like I'm feeling for you. Open your heart out, spill it out, spill it out. Open up your secret desires and do to me like you want me to. आई मैं तो आई नज़ारों के अनजाने तो उसका अंतरा लेके I said let me do something so she's also happy and मेरा गाना भी नहीं जाएगा. आई मैं तो आई नज़ारों के अनजाने जहां से लाई मैं तो लाई बहार के अफसाने भी वहां से नाना मुझे छोड़ना न दूर ही रहना परी हूँ मैं.
And that's Leslie Lewis from Colonial Cousins, popularly known as Les in the industry. Leslie Lewis is one of the first Indian composers to have introduced the Indian audiences to rock and pop music. His father, P.L. Raj, is a noted choreographer from the film industry, by the way. And with that, we have come to the end of another episode of Now Showing. Keep watching the show every week on Saturdays and Sundays. From all of us here, it's a goodbye.